Number 18, Miami Dolphins. Here's a guy I know you love, Donald. I hope I'm saying his name right. Jeremiah Owusu Karamu. Okay? He's a linebacker by trade out of Notre Dame. This guy played linebacker. He also played slot corner. Okay? He has great coverage skills and probably translate to safety in the NFL at 6'1", 215. Okay? I think the Dolphins.
Oh, I got some great notes on him.
Yeah, the Dolphins will be licking their chops to get a guy like this on their defense, man. I'm telling you. They got to be
6'1".
And you know the Dolphins are almost exclusively a man-to-man defense. They'll love this dude. What do you got,
6'1", 221 pounds, ran a 4.4 in a 40-yard dash, and he has above average vertical. Okay? Like you said, and I agree, he played a lot of slot for Notre Dame over the slot receiver, can play strong safety, free safety. He's like Honey Badger, but he hits harder than Honey Badger. He's like a joker. He can play all over the field, sideline to sideline, great tackler, sheds blocks with speed, and creates angles toward the ball. In other words, some guys are fast in this draft, but their angles are screwed up, and they can't make the tackle. They end up making assists on the tackle. Right. This guy finds his way around blocks, and, off of 221 pounds. I mean, that's great. He's going against guys that are 300 pounds. He knows how to angle around them and make the tackle. So he's excellent in the pass and the run, and I can see him playing maybe 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage as a third safety, coming up, making a hit.
That's for those people out there who really fall over themselves about these guys running 4.4s and 4.3s, and they think speed is everything. There is a little bit more to it, especially on the defensive side. This guy finds his way through blockers to make tackles, not just jump on the pile and get assists. So that's important, okay? Where are we at here? Number 20? Number 19. Number 19 goes to the Washington football team. And the Washington football team, oh, yeah, didn't they just grab Ryan Fitzpatrick? And from what I'm hearing, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not going to just be handed the job. So the young man that played in his name is getting away from me, the quarterback. There's supposed to be an actual true quarterback competition in Washington. But whoever wins the job is going to need another target on offense. And that's where they're going to go to Florida to get Kadarius Toney. He's 5'11", 194, real good speed. Mostly played in the slot, extremely explosive. Ran a lot of fly sweeps down in Florida and was very effective with that. He's a good yak guy. Yeah, I like Kadarius Toney. Very explosive, very fast, big-time playmaker.
So, Ben, are you trying to say Taylor Heineke is going to give Ryan Fitzpatrick some competition?
Yes. Heineke, no, I'm not saying he's going to give him competition. What I'm saying is the head coach announced ahead of time that there will be a true quarterback competition between Heineke and Fitzpatrick. They're not just going to hand him the job.
Okay, all right.
They were impressed. They were impressed with Heineke.
Heineke did pretty well, man. He did pretty well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did. Before we move on to number 20 again, I do want to mention that this is Ben and Barry on football. You can find us at www.benandbarryonfootball.com. You can find us every Friday from 6 to 7:30 at WJRL953.com. That's an online radio show, and on our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as a plethora of social media. All right, everybody caught their breath now. You guys got to the sideline, got your water.
I'm ready, man. Let's
You know
go.
what I mean? All right, let's go. Number 20.
Okay, number 20 pick belongs to the Chicago Bears. Now, here's another interesting guy. And this, if you'll notice, well, first of all, his name is Elijah Vera Tucker. Okay. Now, as you'll notice, some of the offensive linemen that have gone before him, I've listed as an actual offensive tackle. This guy is listed as an offensive lineman. The reason for that is because he has already played tackle and he has played guard. He's been successful at both. He's at USC. He's got good size, 6'4", 315 pounds. Now, the only knock on him, and it's not really a knock, is, again, he's one of the guys that kind of doesn't have the prototypical long arms, okay? So he's a short arm guy, which means he'll probably translate to guard in the NFL. But he's proven to be a good enough pass blocker at USC for them to have used him at tackle also, okay? So Elijah Vera Tucker is the pick in Chicago to protect Andy Dalton, the new quarterback there. You got anything on him, Donald?
Yeah, I think he was going to be selected earlier, but because of this quarterback and wide receiver thing, a lot of these offensive linemen got pushed down the board. They say this guy is really good. You know what I mean? And I think he's actually better than Jenkins because he can play guard and tackle, and he's much faster. He has the arm length. He has power. He can play up and down that offensive line. I think I read something about he can play left guard and right guard and offensive tackle. So he's more versatile than Jenkins. This is why I thought he would get selected earlier. Maybe to the San Diego Chargers or someone else that picked the offensive tackle earlier. I think he's going to fly off the board. But it sounds like a good pick if Chicago picks him up.
Yeah, if the Bears can get him, I think that'd be a gem for them. Okay, now we're getting to some of my favorite, I don't even want to call them sleepers, but these are players that I really, really like that seem to have found their way down to the bottom part of the first round. The Indianapolis Colts pick for need, and that need I think they're going to fill very well with Kwity Paye, who is an edge rusher out of Michigan. 6'4", 271. Boy, I'll tell you, there's a lot of back and forth about who the best edge rushers in this particular draft are going to be, but you won't hear three names without Kwity Paye being one of those names, okay? 6'4", 271 is really good size. The big thing I think is the Colts need an edge rusher. The Colts, for as good as their defense was, their pass rush was lacking. They got DeForest Buckner. He was an ex-49er, right, Barry?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so they got him on the inside. He pushes the pocket really well, okay? But they just didn't have that real speed off the edge. So I think they go with Kwity Paye off the edge. That's who I like the Colts to get. They got to go defense, no problem, no question. Boom, 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 boom. Where we at? Tennessee Titans. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about the Tennessee Titans probably in another segment, something that's making me laugh. But right now, again, we're looking at a need pick. The Tennessee Titans let their tight end, Jonnu Smith, go in free agency. They also let Corey Davis go in free agency. I love their wide receiver, A.J. Brown. Absolutely love him. But Corey Davis is coming off of his best season ever, and now he's gone. So guess what? You got to replace it. Terrence Marshall Jr. is a wide receiver out of, oh, look at that, LSU. Okay? LSU. 6'3", 201, good speed, good route runner, plays mostly in the slot, extremely good on vertical routes. Just what the Titans need. I think they grab him there. Now, there's other receivers that could go in his place. I like Terrence Marshall as a good fit for the Titans. Would you agree with that, Donald?
I got a trade alert.
Uh-oh.
I got a trade alert. If the Philadelphia Eagles can convince the Tennessee Titans
Wait. If you say
to
can
take
convince,
a
it's not
pick,
alert.
can take a pick, say maybe a third-round pick next year, a fourth-round pick this year, and Zach Ertz to move up in that position, I like Rondell Moore, wide receiver, Purdue.
Bruh. You said alert like you was the black Adam Schefter.
I believe we're going to trade up. If we don't trade down to Atlanta or trade back, then that's the only option is to pick somebody in the first round and then take some picks in the second and fourth round or third and fourth round and move back up into the first round. I believe the Eagles have those three options.
And after
I guarantee they're moving. I guarantee the Eagles are moving. They're not sitting at 12. Or the third scenario is if they take a player and a couple picks and move back into the first round. And that would be key because, like you said,
okay.
they lost their tight ends. They really don't have a tight end.
Okay, but you said Rondell Moore. Now, if things go the way I said they would go, who did I say they would get? Was a receiver, wasn't it?
You said Jalen Waddle earlier.
So, right.
Exactly.
So wait. If they get Waddle, why would they trade back up into the first round to take Rondell Moore?
We need all the weapons we can get. I like two-way players. Listen, hear me out. I love two-way players on offense and defense. If you can play the slot, if you can play the outside, if you can play special teams. Our special teams has not been good ever since we won the Super Bowl. And lately, it's been stinking up the house. So if you have players that can play all three positions, X, Y, and Z, and special teams, the more the better.
Okay. I hear you. That's straight from the Eagles' nest. Let's move on. And now we're getting to some players I know you like, Donald. So at number 23, the New York Jets. They need defensive help, obviously. Greg Newsome II, a cornerback out of Northwestern. Obviously good size here, 6'1", 190. Supposedly, he's a very good zone coverage type of corner. I know that Robert Saleh ran a very almost exclusively zone defense when he was with the Niners. I will assume that being the head coach, he will bring that same or those same defensive concepts over to the Jets. So Greg Newsome seems to fit here because he played mostly zone defense in college at Missouri. At Northwestern. Not only is he a good zone coverage guy, but he has great closing speed, closing skills. Okay, so even if he's playing in off coverage, when the ball is thrown, he closes quickly, gets knockdowns, gets pickoffs, makes tackles. So I think he's a good fit for the New York Jets in their defense. Another team that needs defense is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are picking at number 24. They lost a couple of linebackers, so they're going to want to plug in another one. I believe that Nick Bolton kind of fits their mold there. He's out of Missouri at 6 feet tall, 231 pounds. Supposedly, from what I've heard, he processes plays very quickly. picks his way through blockers like that other gentleman that Donald talked about earlier. And when he gets there, he makes massive hits. This guy is a big, bad banger when it comes to linebacking play. Vicious against the run game. If you don't get him blocked, he will devastate your running back. Would you agree with that, Donald? You got anything else on him?
Yeah, he's definitely going to be late in the first round, maybe early second round. He's a downhill slugger. I mean, he goes north to south, sheds blocks, plays some in coverage, and an excellent tackler, just like you said.
Okay, that's wonderful. All right, number 25, Jacksonville Jaguars. Trayvon Moehrig, also known as Trayvon Moehrig Woodard. I'm sure we'll hear something about that after he gets drafted. He seems to have taken on another family member as part of his last name. I don't know the story on that, but through college, I believe he was known as Trayvon Moehrig, so we'll go with that. He is a safety out of TCU. Excuse me. Again, pretty good size D-backs coming out this year. No more of those 5'9", 5'10" guys. This guy's 6'2", 203 pounds. Some people are projecting him as the number one safety, and I'll tell you the truth, I don't think I mentioned any other safeties so far in this mock. So I will agree that he's the number one safety in this class, and just being the top-ranked safety, obviously the Jacksonville Jaguars have a lot of holes to fill, so he should fit in with them pretty nicely. I think that's a good pick for them. 26, we got the Cleveland Browns. Here's another one of your favorite players, Donald. And Barry, I think this is a good guy for you too. Jason Oweh, an edge rusher out of Penn State. He's 6'5", 257, and he ran a 4.36 40 at his draft day. He's being called a physical freak. What do you got on him? Anybody?
The guy is a freak. I mean, that speed, that height, that weight coming off the edge is going to be somebody's nightmare. I can also see him in a 3-4 outside linebacker coming off the edge like that too.
Yeah, I
Shooting
agree.
into the flat, covering the flat, tight end, running back coming out the backfield. I think he would fit perfect in a 3-4.
I agree. I have to check and see what's the Cleveland Browns base defense to see if he really fits there. But I like him for them. Either way, coming off the edge.
But you notice they had when they had Avery, who's a Philadelphia Eagle now. When they had Avery, he was a little smaller than him and shorter than him. They used him at defensive end for Cleveland. Then when he came to the Philadelphia Eagles for this year, we're using him at outside linebacker.
Okay.
So, but we run a 4-3. So it should be interesting that if they do run a 3-4 in Cleveland, he's definitely going to have he's not going to have his hands in the dirt. He's coming high and hard.
Yeah, I agree. But either way they use him, hand in the dirt or 2-point stands, I think this guy's going to make a lot of noise. So be looking forward to seeing that. At number 27, the Baltimore Ravens. I'll tell you now, I know people like the Ravens. I know people like Lamar Jackson. I know people make a lot of predictions about the Ravens really, getting to a Super Bowl and making noise in the playoffs and all this stuff. Those things haven't happened. They need help on defense. I see them going edge rusher with my man Azeez Ojulari out of Georgia. Now, I heard some things about him. Most of them are about his amazing first step, his amazing snap anticipation, and his flat-out speed, okay? He's 6'3", 240, so he's not small, but coming off the edge, the kid's pretty tough. He plays in the SEC, so he's been up against some of the best offensive tackles in the business. What do you got anything on him, Don?
Hey, he's quick coming off the edge. He can play in the 3-4, 4-3. His first couple steps are extremely fast. He can go sideline to sideline. He can definitely do some damage. He's actually faster than Joseph Osea from Texas, who's a pretty big kid. But this kid from Georgia, he's definitely special. But I actually had Zaven Collins. He's 6'4", 260. He can play the mic, he can play the edge, he can play the rover. He ran a 4.6 in the 40. I mean, 6'4", 260.
Wow.
They said that he's another Ray Lewis. That's why I thought he might be going to the Ravens.
Okay. Well, guess what? There's a really good chance that could happen. Again.
Oh, he's out of Tulsa, University of Tulsa.
Tulsa, right. And I just want to remind people, I know, and Donald knows what teams need. But when a team has several needs, then if we're going to make up a mock draft list, it's up to us to determine the best player on the board to fill the need or one of the needs that they have. So
Agree.
Yes. So if I say Azeez Ojulari is going to fill their edge rush need, but they decide to go with another guy, if it's a guy that plays the same position, guess what? That's the Baltimore Ravens choice or any other team. Okay. But that's how we distinguish it. That's why we're giving it the way that we
I think they had a problem last year. I wanted to see him blitz more, but Harbaugh didn't really blitz that much with the Ravens. So I think he would fit better with a team that blitzes versus run stopping. Is Jalen Collins is written all on a run stopper.
Here's the thing, and this is one of my personal things that I talk to Barry about all the time. The Ravens are kind of a run-centric, short pass, tight end-centric type of offense, okay? So the type of team that gives them trouble is the team that puts the ball in the air a lot and scores quickly, gets them behind so they have trouble coming back. So you need to have pass rushers. You need to be able to put the other quarterback under duress. So that's why I'm saying edge rusher is a big deal for them. And I think they go edge rusher in the first round. So.
All right, guys, guess what? There's only 5 teams left. But the teams at the bottom of the draft are your best teams generally, right? So we're going to talk about the 5 best. We just want to make that break real quick and remind people this is Ben and Barry on Football. You can find us at www.benandbarryonfootball.com, on Spotify Podcasts and Apple Podcasts, and on Fridays on the radio at WJRL953.com. All right, we got that little piece there. You ready to do the final 5, guys?
Yes, sir.
Guys, their needs are, these needs are a little. They have to be a little less if they've been winning as much as they've been winning. So, very specific here. So, where we at?
I think we're with New Orleans.
Saints, New Orleans.
Okay, so the funny thing is, these are not gimmies. Okay, these teams have needs too, even though they've been great teams initially over the last few years. Take, for instance, the New Orleans Saints. They cut my man Jackrabbit Jenkins.
Yes, they did.
They released my man. And then Lattimore, who's one of the best cornerbacks in the league, if not the best, got a gun charge.
Right.
All of a sudden, they need a cornerback. Guess where they're going? Eagle fans. Asante Samuel Jr. From Florida State. 5'10".
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
That hurts? Why? You wanted Asante for the Eagles? You wanted
I
the
was
legacy?
hoping that he was going to drop in the second round.
Guess what? That's a possibility, Donald. It could happen. It could happen. There's still a lot of good corners out there. Okay. But you know me, I look at the need and then I go for the guy that I think fits. And I think Asante Samuel fits that. I do. I just, he's very instinctual. He moves really well. He can play man. He can play zone. He's a little undersized. That's the only thing. He's 5'10", 183. So he's a little undersized. But hey, I think that'd be a good move for them.
Hey, Donald. Hey, Donald.
Yes.
I just got a call from Asante Samuel Jr. He's like, I don't want no second round contract, buddy.
It's his size. That's why he dropped. What's interesting is, I have 5 players on my notes that are bigger, taller, just as fast as him, that will be in the second round. So I'm okay. I thought they were going to do his father a favor and bring him back to Philadelphia.
Hey, that could still happen. Donald's all business, ain't he? He's all business.
Well, you know something? Considering that what the Eagles still have Howie and the same owner, there might be some level of sentimentality there, but not much.
I tell you what.
He actually made a statement 2 years ago. He said that he wanted to look at homegrown talent. So I'm thinking that he wanted to select players that were from Philadelphia. But I haven't seen it happen yet. And this is why I've actually checked out some of the college players that are from Philadelphia that actually really did good on their prominent teams. And some players are rather interesting, along with Kyle Pitts.
And there's, yes, Kyle Pitts is from Philadelphia, and there's some more coming. And I don't get me started. Jeremiah Trotter's son is coming. Marvin Harrison's son is coming. Okay. But these kids are just now going into college. So guess what? I don't even know why I'm talking about this, because Howie ain't going to be here that long. Anyway, moving on. Number 29, Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers, yes, they need defensive help. It's funny, we were talking earlier, and Barry and Donald were going over our net point power ranking scheme, and the Packers happen to be used as an example for points for and points against and all that stuff. Obviously, we know the Packers can score points, but they have a little bit of trouble stopping points getting scored. So they're going to need a defensive lineman, and this is a true defensive lineman here. I have them down for taking Christian Barmore out of Alabama. Most people will say, hey, you take an Alabama player in the first round, you can't go wrong. 6'5", 311, got him down as a D lineman because, again, he can play tackle and he can play guard. What am I saying? Jeez, I'm mixing him up with another guy. He is a defensive lineman who can play tackle and defensive end. So sorry about that. 6'5", 311 is nothing to sneeze at. This guy has proven that he can play both. He can push the pocket and he can rush the edge.
I got something on him.
What you got on him? What do you got on Barmore? I actually like Barmore.
They said he's exactly like Fletcher Cox.
Okay.
He's an A+. He can rush the passer. He can stuff the run, and he's another Philadelphia guy.
Okay, there you go. You know what high school he went to?
No, I don't.
Okay. I was just wondering. All right. Number 30. 30th pick. The Buffalo Bills, one of my favorite teams to watch. Here's your guy, Donald. Jalen Phillips, edge rusher out of Miami, 6'5", 266. Go ahead and praise him.
Hey, like I said, he reminds me of Zach Taylor, the Miami Dolphins back in the day. This guy likes to crush people. He got bad intentions when he's coming off that edge. All the film that I checked out, he literally tries to hurt the person who has the ball. see ball, get ball. That's his attitude. And I've seen him push offensive tackles around. He has a long reach, heavy, violent hands, big punch. He's coming at you.
All
The
right.
only thing is the concussions.
Yeah.
If he can pass on the medical and knock down those red flags, he's a first rounder to me.
Okay. Okay. Very nice. At the
Ben,
31st pick.
Ben,
Yes.
before you go on, you were asking about Christian Barmore.
Yes.
I have it here that he was a freshman at Abraham Lincoln, but then he transferred to St. John Newman and Maria Goretti Catholic High School.
Okay. Okay.
Wow, that's deep. He was in the public league. That's great.
He started in the pub, baby.
Not many
Yeah.
people go from the pub to the Catholic League, though. That's unusual.
Not nowadays. It's not. Newman Goretti's got a pretty good program.
Okay.
Basketball and football. Yeah, they're nice. Them, St. Joe Prep, those are the schools the kids are going to now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, Ben, I want you to name me how many fields does Lincoln High School have?
How many fields?
Yeah.
Like 3, right?
No, I think they got like 4 or 5 fields.
No,
Cadet, junior varsity, and they got a practice, and they got their where they play their games at. They got the stadium. At least that's how it was when I was, playing for West.
Yeah, well, they got a football field, they got a soccer field, they got a baseball field.
They got all that. Great coaching staff, nice locker rooms.
Yeah, when you're from the hood and you're going up there to the Northeast to play, and you get off the bus, you go, wow. I remember my first time going to Frankfurt, believe it or not. That football field actually looked like a stadium to us back in the day. The big brick walls, remember that? You ever go play at Frankfurt? Yeah,
I never played at Frankfurt.
Bro, their field, when you're a little high school kid, looks like a stadium, like an old college stadium. Big brick walls surround the whole place. But anyway, I digress. We're at the Kansas City Chiefs. I know there's a lot of Chiefs fans out there.
I see OT.
Yeah, I made it really clear in last week's show that I believe the Kansas City Chiefs have to go offensive line. I still say that. There is no doubt in my mind that they will go offensive line. My pick for them is Sam Cosmi. He's 6'7", 309. Now, think about it. 6'7", 309. This is not a bulky guy, but he's a very big guy. Also, he's a 3-year starter at Texas. Pretty run-centric team, okay? He's very experienced, and he's proven to be a strong pass blocker. So I like him for them. And let's face it, their 2 starting tackles were injured last year. They were not able to get back in time for the Super Bowl. After they lost the Super Bowl, a lot of people said, hey, if those 2 guys had been there, it might have been different. And then they turn around and released both of them. So they got to go offensive line. That's the guy I picked for them, Sam Cosmi.
I totally agree with that pick. He reminds me a little bit of Lane Johnson, a healthier guy who's fast on his feet, who can actually get around and make hits against the edge rushers and keep the quarterback clean.
Okay, excellent. So he would work out well with Kansas City then.
Yes, he certainly will.
Absolutely.
So it seems Kansas City was looking at the draft when they was deciding to let those tackles go, eh?
And that's a good possibility. I think they probably did the same thing that we're doing now and tried to map out the draft and see if there would be.
Yeah, they're definitely going younger.
Yeah, and see if they could see if they believe that a quality offensive lineman would drop to them at number 31. And they were satisfied that there would be enough talent there to help them so that they wouldn't have to trade up or use any draft picks to get a particular guy. I don't think they need any particular guy. So they should be happy with this guy. If he falls to them, I think that's a wonderful thing. Last but not least, at number 32, the last pick in the first round, the Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers take one of my brother's favorite wide receivers coming out of Purdue, Rondale Moore, 5'9", 181. Not a real big guy, but a really good athlete. Probably his best asset is his yards after catch, kind of like a Deebo Samuel kind of guy, Barry. Very impressive in that. Now, one of the sticking points is because of the way the Purdue offense ran, he didn't necessarily run the entire route tree. That doesn't mean he can't do it. That doesn't mean he's not a good route runner. What do you say about that, Donald?
Well, the routes that I saw him run, he ran quite a few routes, different routes. And when he puts his foot in the ground and he comes out of his breaks, he does it violently. So he doesn't bend his route. He comes out of it where he's actually shaking that defender off of him. And then with his speed, nobody can catch him. So the guy knows what he's doing.
Okay.
And like I said, punt returns, kickoff returns, that's just extra.
Yeah, I agree with something that you said earlier, Donald. I would not be surprised if Rondale Moore goes way earlier than this because he's so extremely versatile, okay? Even if he didn't run the whole route tree, the routes that he ran, he was precise with them. He caught the ball, and he got yards after catch. And
there's a lot of explosion coming out of his breaks.
His
hips are fluid, and you don't know which way the guy is going because he comes out of his breaks so fast when he's running routes, especially if he's doing double moves. So whoever's covering him is going to have a problem.
That stuff is extremely important. And then you add on the fact that he can return kicks. That makes him a valuable commodity. So if we see Rondale Moore go earlier in this draft, don't be surprised. And that basically wraps it up for us.
Well, I'll just add to that. On Ben and Barry Facebook page, we did post the 3 fastest pro day 40 times. And Rondale Moore was number 3 at a 4.29.
Holy crap.
Yes. So, burning the track up.
Woo, man, that's moving. And that was third. That was third.
Somebody gave me a golden nugget about Chase, saying that he was faster than Hopkins during his pro day, faster than Jefferson during his pro day, and it was another wide receiver that's really good in the NFL right now. He's faster than him. So Jamar Chase has a faster 40 time of some
no joke, fellas.
NFL pros. I mean,
Jamar Chase is no joke. People fell over themselves when Justin Jefferson got cooking last year. Okay. Jamar Chase was the hands down number 1 receiver at LSU when him and Jefferson were both there catching passes from Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is for real.
That's right. He's for real.
All right. Well, that wraps up the Dickerson Brothers Mock Draft 2.0. I guess next week we'll have 3.0. You don't use fractions? You don't go 3.1, 2.5?
Because Donald said that somebody's going to entice Atlanta to trade that number 4 pick. They trade that number 4 pick, that changes everything.
All right. Well, you have to get people to stay tuned.
It also changes the picks in the second round if the Eagles pull that off.
Oh, look, he's dying to get to the second round.
He wishes he could get to the second round. Maybe one day we'll do a second round show just for that. So forth. All right, good enough.